Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul podcast. We're on episode 48, and I have with me Victor Perez, passionate dancer, dance instructor, executive director of United Dance Ottawa, and the driver of Brazilian Zouk in Canada. Welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's such a kind introduction. Um, I'm
Yeah,
super
no.
excited to be here and share about my passion for Zouk and talk about dance.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to be sharing this because this is something I can see it from the moment I met you. It's like this guy oozes passion for his craft. So let's get right into it. First, share us a little bit about your journey into dance itself and then into Brazilian Zouk.
So into dance itself, that's a long story. But I started dancing very young. Both my parents were very artistically inclined. On my father's side, there's a lot of singing and acting and radio and television presenting and hosting.
Mhm.
And so growing up, I grew up around this circle of family members that were institutionalizing a folkloric dance in Colombia called vallenato. And so we grew up going to concerts, going to the Vallenato Festival of Colombia, because the men in my family were directly involved in institutionalizing that. Now it's a big thing. It's a huge attraction in Colombia. And then on my mother's side, it was a very, very wide range of cultural appreciation that she had from being from Barranquilla. So, where I was born and raised in Barranquilla, we have the second largest carnival in the world up after Rio. And funny enough, where we lived, so here we were the Perez Pava, my family, and here were the Perez Atertua. And the Perez Atertua family was the family that was also involved in institutionalizing the institution of the carnival in Barranquilla. So it's a huge thing. And so there was all sorts of dances. There's a parade that you can only call yourself a person from Barranquilla that you can do, that it's I think 8 kilometers long. And and we do that every year. We used to do that every year. And so that was my first exposure to, I guess, music, to art. But then very, very early on, my parents put me and my siblings into the, I guess you would say, the Beaux Arts Academy in Academia de Bellas Artes for folkloric dancing and for percussion. And so that's how I discovered dance. But the passion for dancing, I think I discovered it later. I started first with singing and with listening to music. I'm always listening to music and discovering new music. And so I remember when I was 15 years old, I asked my father for a birthday present because in Colombia we don't have a sweet 16, we have a sweet 15.
Mhm.
And so I asked him for a chiva, which is essentially a party bus, and it takes you and your best friends, and you go from place to place partying around, and then you end up in the beach with a little fire pit and eating some barbecue meat. And I asked my father, "Hey, could I have a chiva?" expecting that he would say no, but funny enough, he said yes. And I said, "What, for real?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And I said, "Okay." And so then I start calling. And then I get 56 of my friends to come and celebrate my 15th birthday in this party bus. And I realized about a week before this party bus goes on, oh, shoot, I don't really know the steps to salsa. And salsa at that time was the most popular genre in Colombia.
Mhm.
And so my anniversary date for learning salsa, I'll never forget this, is 3 days before my 15th birthday. I remember bringing a bowl of cereal from the living room to the kitchen. I always playing music. And all of a sudden, I'm doing the basic step on my way to the kitchen. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing the basic step. Oh my God, I'm dancing. Yes. And on my birthday, I danced the whole night, and it was amazing. And I'll never forget that because it happened very organically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like a story of I took these many classes and went through all of this fire to finally get the basics. It was like, and then it happened.
Yeah,
So,
well, the interesting um, process in Latin America, I find, is that because music and social gatherings are such an ingrained part of the culture, you're always exposed, at least visually, to dance moves.
mm,
And so as you're growing up, even though you've never set yourself in front of a mirror to like execute them and practice them or whatever, you become accustomed to watching dance moves, watching dance moves, watching dance moves. And if you look at one of the things that we do in salsa class or in Zouk class, it's like we learn by observation at the beginning, right? And so we do a little warm up and it's by observation. And so over the years of that observation, Latin Americans, we develop this, I guess, mental muscle memory for dance. And so it's really interesting. And then from that moment on, I loved dancing. I always loved going out and being with friends and being in a party.
yeah.
I discovered Zouk in 2022.
Mm,
I discovered Zouk in 2022. The pandemic had shut down all dance. And so I took a very radical decision. I I took on a commercial lease in the middle of downtown Ottawa in an undisclosed location, and I opened up an underground dance studio. And at first, I started doing salsa and bachata parties without realizing that the Sioux community was the one that needed the most help. And in fact, it was through talking with a friend of mine, Megan, who who was crying and said to me, the community is really divided. Nobody's dancing anymore. I want to teach Zouk. And I said, well, I'm gonna teach at my studio. And that's how it started. But when I started, I have to say I wasn't I was open to exploring new things.
mhm.
I was open to exploring new chapters of life, but I wasn't in love with it. Not yet. Um, and so what I did was I said, okay, the Sioux community really needs help, so let's put an event together. And so we put an event together, and we had all the dancers from Quebec City, from Montreal, from Ottawa, some from Toronto, and they came over that weekend. And we had 6 artists. We had Haley and Miguel, we had Sebastian and Melody, and we had Diana and Gaetan. And we threw an amazing weekend there. And what that means is like there's dance workshops and then there's social.
Mhm.
And I remember at that moment, I I saw some of the people dancing and they shared this beautiful connection that it was as if they were in this almost meditative space.
Mm,
But they're smiling and they're enjoying the music. It wasn't something like esoteric that no, it was like they were smiling and enjoying themselves and enjoying the music and somehow in a meditative state. And I that's when I started to fall in love with it.
mm,
That's when I started to fall in love with it. And then 3 days later, I boarded a plane to Playa del Carmen, and I I met one of my first mentors. His name is Luan. Shout out to Luan. Um, and when he dances, the whole room stops to watch
mm.
because he's so embodied. He's so present. He's so available for his partner that it makes his partner do the same. It's a beautiful thing. If I wish that every human gets to experience at least to watch that. If it's not to live it, to watch that. Yeah.
Mm.
So
I wanna pause there just for a moment.
yeah.
What to you is the power of dance?
Oh, that's a big one. Um, Dance is very powerful, but I think it's, if I can put it into something relatable,
Mm.
it would be like a mirror. Dance becomes a mirror for us, and it shows us what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, where we need to work on. Do I need to work on letting go? Do I need to work on not being so attached to control? Do I need to be less, more detached from outcomes? Do I need to be more present and in the moment? And so I think the power of dance is that it becomes a mirror for your personal life. Um, that, I mean, that and many other powers. I think that dance is almighty.
It's huge. And thanks for sharing that. I went through some of your Instagram posts and I just want to share this quote. I believe you're the one that said this. To me, dance is more than just motion with your body. It is a shared moment with each move and breath is a brushstroke to the canvas of our co-creation. I treasure this moment and your embodied presence.
Yeah,
When I read that, I was like, this is it. Like this is it. And what you're explaining, this mirror, it's that is it. It's the co-creation of magic, beauty, love, pleasure, whatever the words are for you in that moment, right? But to be able to have that experience, and you're mentioning you wish a lot of people would have that experience, like the show-stopping experience that your teacher gives off when he walks into the room. Well, how can we actually get there? What does it require of us as a leader or a follower to actually get into that meditative, embodied space where time becomes just fleeting and non-existent even, and we're just so immersed in ourselves and in this other person that we're sharing the dance with.
that's a great question. I think it takes surrender on the part of the both the leader and the follower. It takes surrender of fears. It takes surrendering of anxiety. It takes surrendering of maybe negative connotations that society has brought upon dancing a certain way or another. Um, I would say that's for leads and for follows. And for on a deeper level, it takes love. And I know that that's a very broad word, but when you understand that the person that you're holding in that close embrace is a human being with flesh, bone, emotions, and a spirit and a connection to the Almighty, you see them more as a human instead of, say, a prop to make you look good in front of your friends, instead of maybe the person that's going to make other cool dancers want to dance with you, instead of maybe the person that's going to make the girl or the boy that you like jealous so that they come get you after, or something like that.
Mm.
And so when you humanize your partners and you really take care of them, you the way you touch, the way you embrace, what you feel in that proximity
Mm.
changes, and that energy soothes you. And that soothing effect reduces your reactivity. You're not trying to find signals where they're not. You're not trying to be offbeat. You're just allowing yourself to be in your body
Mhm.
and not in your thoughts. And then for leads, I think it takes for leads they have to do that, but they also have to do the mental exercise of spatial awareness if it's in the context of a social gathering. You have to see when somebody else is coming towards you, whether there's a wall approaching, whether somebody else is doing a power move in direct line of collision with your follow. And so you have to account for that. But in general, I would say love and surrender is what you need to experience that. Um, I've been very lucky that I've been able to experience that, and yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I want more people to experience Zouk. It's because out of all the dances that I've been doing, I've been dancing salsa for 21 years, bachata for 13. In Zouk, I find that that's where it's most prevalent,
Mhm.
and and you know, let me ask you something. How do you feel when you're able to, in the context of dance, be able to feel like you can be absolutely all yourself and let go and surrender, and you feel safe and nothing bad can happen to you? How does that feel for you as a follow, as a person who dances, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's the word surrender definitely resonates with me as a person that with the tendency to backlead. But what I notice is that there was my blockage was a lack of trust. And yes, it's easy to say I don't trust you. And I think there are moments when the lead is getting a bit too much and moving me in too many directions and I don't trust them and I do trust that intuitive kind of like vibe. I'm like I don't trust them, so I'm not going to go that way. But for me it's really like when I can establish a connection first by just being with the person, being in their field, their energy field, whether we're an arm apart or close, then that's when actually naturally I find my body is attuning, right? There's an attunement that happens. And that's, I think, what creates this magical harmony when you see two people dance, when, yes, like I'm asked to surrender, but it comes with a trust. And it's not only I trust you, I actually am trusting myself to follow and
Mm-hmm.
to allow myself to have this dance, to have this moment of connection. And I mention that as a person that has had a big heart armor, that has been afraid of being seen for a long time, and dance has really been coupled with yoga, this gateway to forging a deeper connection, both within myself and watching that ripple out on the dance floor when I dance with another. Because it's easy to dance with yourself, right? So for some, it's hard to dance with oneself, but for me, it's been easy. But then when it's like you're now merging with another, or asked to like bring palm to palm, or arm to arm, or arm to waist, whatever it is, there's this like, can you exhale, right?
Yeah.
Can you exhale?
Yeah.
But it feels
It's
safe. It feels, I'm safe to be in my fullest expression, whatever that is in the moment, whether that's a head roll, whether that's a body roll, a body wave, whatever feels. And I'm still working on it. It's work in progress, but it's beautiful to see when there is beautiful harmony that's created, that kind of show stopping, I guess, like experience. Hmm.
well, I think so. I think of it as something divine.
Hmm.
The way I think of that is you get inspired. And if you look at the word inspired and you separate it, it's in spirit.
Hmm.
And so you become one with your spirit, you become one with divinity. When you're doing that, the two of you, it's not like it's show stopping because, oh, whatever. No, like humans are drawn to that. We're drawn to that. That's where we were created from. That universal energy that some people call God, that some people call whatever else. And so I think of it as a conversation with the Lord every time. And right now, apart from say going to church, I think those are my most treasured moments in the week when I'm able to have those conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you a personal question in terms of specifically Zouk, because you mentioned that Zouk entered your life actually quite recently in 2022. How do you feel that since that moment that Zouk entered your life, that dance has shaped you as a person?
um, a lot. Um, so before my relationship with dance was a relationship of sin,
Mm.
and it used to feed into a lot of carnal desires for me. Um, Now my relationship with dance is a relationship with the divine, and it's holy. Um, I don't drink, for example, anymore, whereas I did drink for a long time when I was dancing before Zouk. Even as I started Zouk, I drank for a little bit. Um, I take the utmost care of my body now, where I didn't before. I have a regular sleeping schedule that is transformed every Wednesday because every Wednesday I train until very late. And so I adjust for that. But now it's almost like a part of my routine. Um, that's, I guess, on the personal, physical side of things. But on the other aspects of me, it's made me more open, more vulnerable. Um, it's made me want to seek that authenticity of that divine conversation that I have with dance in all other realms of my life.
Mm.
And so it's now drawn me closer to the people with whom I have that authentic relationship. And now it's driven me apart from those people with whom I didn't have that authentic relationship. Um, it's driven me to attract others who are also interested in bearing it all. You know, for example, take you. We met, I think, in September, or I can't remember the date. And then soon after, we realized, oh, you're going to be in Colombia when I'm going to be in Colombia. And then somehow we connected and we shared an amazing breakfast in Medellin.
Mhm.
And then we shared an amazing dance in Parques del Rio.
Mhm.
And so I think on the holistic level, I don't know if I want to use that word, but dance has changed. Souk has changed my life for the better, um, in many ways. In many ways, but specifically in that I now seek only
Mhm.
authentic. Um,
Yeah. I want to pause there. Thanks for sharing that because I know I knew with you we can go deep. We can go deep. We can go the depths. Um,
yes.
For the word authenticity, that's bringing a gateway into the social dance scene in Ottawa. We've conversed a little bit about this, where, like any community, there's toxicity and there's greatness, right? And I know you've been around a lot to observe all the spectrum, right? What do you believe is the missing piece as in dance as a whole in Ottawa, even Canada, and particularly in like what, yeah, I'll leave it at there. Like, what do you think is the missing piece? What is the gap that you are here to bridge?
Ah, I think, well, that's maybe that sounds a little pretentious, but I think devotion, um, devotion to God, to divinity, whatever you want to call it, that brings about devotion to learning. That brings about devotion to self-improvement.
Hmm.
That brings about a devotion to teaching. And I don't know if you've trained any other discipline other than dance, but in all disciplines, when your teachers are devoted to learning themselves, they get so good that what takes somebody 5, 6 hours to explain, it takes them 30 minutes. And the person that did it in 5, 6 hours, maybe their students are going to forget in 1 or 2 days, versus the other students that did it only 30 minutes are going to keep it forever because it was so well taught. And so I think devotion to God, to divinity, to the craft in general is what's missing. Um, One thing that I enjoy doing is improving myself by taking classes from others.
Hmm.
And this is not only for Zouk, this is also like, contemporary dance, hip hop, uh, any other styles, ballet,
Hmm.
bar classes, Pilates, all disciplines that help in delivering that experience to the public, because it is our job, it is our responsibility to guide them. And so when you were asking me just earlier on, what's one of the things that you like about the Zouk path, it's like, well, in this path, I have to walk the path myself
Yeah.
if I want to teach it, if I want to preach it.
Mm.
There is no other way. And so it keeps me accountable, because my student is going to be able to tell that I didn't practice my basic if my basic doesn't look polished, right? And so yeah, I think devotion is what's needed in Ottawa and in other scenes, but definitely in Ottawa we need devotion.
Mm. I love that. In terms of, I can see that. Mm. For the facilitator, for the teacher, for the healer, for whatever label you want to put on these people like you and I that are here to teach and to guide people, that embodiment piece, like you drinking your own medicine before you're able to share it authentically, or continuing to drink your medicine while you share. What about the people that are perhaps maybe not on this path of wanting to teach dance? They enter a dance scene, let's say a social Joe Blow from the street was like, cool, Brazilian Zouk, I'm coming in. Like what message would you offer them to make the
Mm.
most of their experience?
If 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 they're a lead, and I'll tell you why in a second. If they're a lead, I'll tell them to just wait patiently. It'll come. Just wait patiently. And if they're a follow, I would tell them, gift yourself the chance to experience this.
Mm.
Um, The reason why it's different, it's because I think in partner dance, um, the leads and the follows have different learning curves because of the different roles that they're playing within the dance at times. And so for the lead, the beautiful thing is that you're forged in fire. You have to go through hell where you don't know that where you're stepping, you're doing all the things wrong. You can tell that your follower is smiling just because she's nice. If you're lucky enough that she's smiling, but that it's not you who's causing that smile. Um, and so yeah, for my leads, just stay strong, stay disciplined, keep drilling, keep practicing. It'll come. It'll come.
Yeah.
And then for the follows is gift yourself the chance to experience this level of surrender.
Yeah.
It'll it'll improve all other aspects of your life.
Hmm.
And so yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I've spoken to other dancers, lead dancers, and definitely there's this common thread of like, the frustration, like they can't get it. Um, but yeah, it's remembering there's different learning curves, and both have their own things to work on to make the dance more enjoyable at the end.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful thing because it once you get past that stage where you worked really hard on it and you wouldn't get it and then you start getting it, oh, it's so rewarding.
Mm.
And once you start leading a follow that initially was tense with you and that realized, oh no, I can surrender here. And then oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I think it's absolutely worth it. Just stick with it. Stick with it. 6 to 8 months discipline. And there will be a very, very positive, long lasting, life changing result.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ripple effect not only on the dance floor, but as you mentioned in life, like dance is life. Are you able to pivot, to change, to adapt with the person in front of you, with the situation, different energies coming in? Are you able to trust? Are you able to allow yourself to feel this right now, to allow it to move through your body, right? Do you have the confidence you to lead, a certain way? There's there's so much here that
Well,
trickles out. Hmm.
you begin to notice subtleties
Hmm.
when you're talking to people. All of a sudden, you begin to notice their hand twitch when they get tense. All of a sudden, you begin to notice their shoulders going up a little bit if they're having a hard time, and and then you can use that to improve your life
Yeah,
because now you're reading people a little better.
yeah.
And so,
So let me ask you
yeah,
this question. Ooh, something came to my heart here. You've seen a lot of people come in, your classes come out. You're a very observative and intuitive person. I could sense it. What are you noticing in the people that are coming into your sphere? Maybe something they don't even know. What do you feel is the need in our society, may I say it that way, as a whole? Do you see a pattern of people coming in with maybe the same challenge? Right? Is there a collective need or demand or desire?
yeah. Let me find the term for it. I don't know that there's a single word term for it or a compounded word term for it, but I find this desire to dance like the superstars that they see on Instagram.
Hmm.
And I see that across the board in all genres of dance. And the way I've observed it is that they're they're just trying to take that opportunity to like wow, take out their arm and look cute and whatever, not realizing whether or not they're losing connection with their partner.
Mm.
A lot of times when the leads want to uh, lead, for example, a power move like a deep cambre, they also want to look like that superstar on the on the Instagram, on the TV, like wow.
Mm.
And so the desire for for external validation, I guess that would be it. The desire for external validation
Mm.
is the thing that we need to work on the most for people that are coming into dance classes in general. When you put your validation, when you put your self-worth in how correct your steps are, in whether or not you did your foot 43.7 degrees to the left in a plie or not, you're taking away the divinity of the conversation of dance, and you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to be inspired, to be in spirit, to be in conversation with the Lord.
Mm.
And so I think that if we let go of that and we instead develop the good habits of connecting with our partner, of breathing with our partner, something magical happens when you start breathing with your partners.
Mm.
Of I forgot the word in English, but it's like when you shush a baby and
Uh,
you're like, shh,
to
because
to soothe.
yes, to soothe,
To
yes, to
soothe.
soothe our partners. If we cultivate these habits of soothing our partners, and this is beautiful, by the way, for follows.
Mm.
Follows, a lot of times you dance with a lead and he's very nervous to dance with you because you're an amazing dancer, and maybe he's not as amazing dancer, but he wants to prove himself to you.
Mhm.
And you can feel the tension. You're like, oh my God, I want to go, I want to go. One of the most beautiful things you can do for that lead is a nice warm embrace and just.
Yeah. Same the
And
other way
then,
around.
yeah. So for us, that's high on the priority list. High on the priority list. But yeah, so if instead of outside validation, we seek to have um, good habits while dancing, which are a solid foundation of the basics, of the actual kinesthetic basics, um, trying to connect with our partner at the breath level, at the emotional level.
Yeah.
Our dance is going to become uh, way better, way
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. Thanks for sharing that. The external validation piece. Well, if we're not trying to validate externally, then ultimately the only way out is in. So that's when I see yoga being just such a beautiful complement to dance, any type of dance, to wanting that connection. And we're human. We all want to feel connection to the Lord, the divine, to another, to nature, to everything. This is where it's, well, how can I actually connect deeper to me? And this is where, in my realm of work, I see a lot of women that are just completely in their minds. So that's when I said it's like, well, the soothing is not only followers to leads, it's also, it can be lead to followers, like just that warm embrace saying, oh, like, I remember you did that to me. Just an embrace when we were dancing because my shoulders were coming up. You notice that. So it's like the inhale, the inhale, the inhale, the tension that it brings, right? So what about the exhale? So can I relax and feel safe first in my own body and feel my own self, be connected in here? I think that's also an
Mm-hmm.
element to for on offer for anybody, whether you're a leader or follower, so that when you come to open your palms or you come to bring your palms here, I'm either receiving or giving that connection, that it's just it's so much more that much more powerful.
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
In fact, I always teach to my leads, this is like advanced leads training. Um, an advanced lead will always take the time to recalibrate as much as often as needed with their follow. And oftentimes that recalibration comes, like you said, like we just need a big,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
then feeling that shoulder blade falling gently on your arm again, on your palm again, and feeling, okay, okay, we're back in it. All right, let's try it. And yeah, it's so beautiful to experience that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I want, before wrapping up, for you to share about Bizouk Ottawa and what is coming down the pipeline. I know you have things up your sleeve that you're in full creation right now, and manifestation of all your dreams come true. So share with us a little bit about what's coming up.
So the the first thing that's coming up that I can announce is three dance partners that are coming from abroad to Ottawa to spend time teaching with me, training with me, and delivering content with me. Uh, First, we have Manon Charlier from Paris. Shout out to Manon, La Manoncita. Um, then we have Bruna Pesaña, who is a very special person. She was one of my very first private classes in Brazilian Zouk. Her and her mother, to me, are like family. I've taken lots of classes from them, and actually, her mother was one of the creators of Brazilian Zouk, Canata Pesaña. And the third partner is Chantal Ferrer, and Chantal Ferrer is from Spain and France, and she's been dancing for so long and has such a wealth of knowledge. And she's an amazing teacher from Bali and Thailand
Mm.
that is going to join us. So from March until July, we'll be able to have them here delivering classes, content, workshops, demos. But what's more important that I want to unveil is the Zouk University program. And so the Zouk University program, I designed it because it can be frustrating sometimes as a student of dance to be spending so much money in classes when you're going to different places, to different teachers, learning one thing, learning the other. And all of a sudden, you're like a room full of boxes that haven't been opened. And you've taken all of these workshops, all of these moves, all of these patterns, but yet on the dance floor, you still do the same 3 or 4 moves and you don't even feel that comfortable doing them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to do with Zouk University is deliver an intensive learning experience where every day there's a guide of exercises that we're going to do every day for all those 15 weeks. There's a reflection, there's an intention setting, and we're going to take that and transform our dance. So the official title is going to be Transformação, which is the Brazilian word for transformation. And I took inspiration from this on a few models. So the first model is the MAC program from Alex de Carvalho, Method Alex de Carvalho. The second program is the Núcleo Renata Pesaña program. And so the MAC program, Manon is a specialist in, and the Renata Pesaña program, well, Bruna is a specialist in. And then the third inspiration that I got from this was from my beloved teachers, Gab Lacarrière and Caroline Hochstedt. In our most recent intensive in Colombia, I was able to see how intensive the breakdown of every motion in every class was to help us achieve our desired outcome. And I feel like my dance transformed ever since. Mm. And so this program is going to be designed for people that want to that want to dance a little bit more purposefully. They're tired of going to social and dancing with a partner, and the partner's looking here, except here.
Mm.
They're tired of taking classes, but they you never hit the actual beat, you never hit the musicality.
Mm.
They're tired of learning patterns that they can't incorporate somehow in their brains because their brain's thinking too much, because their brain is not moving the way the body's not moving the way their brain telling. And so this program is designed for people that want to dance a little bit more purposeful.
Yeah.
And then another announcement that's very important is the creation of University Zouk Club. And so that is coming soon. It'll be at the University of Ottawa every Monday. And I will be revealing more details in my Instagram account at Zouk Ottawa. That's where I'll be doing all of my announcements. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, what I think it's coming to well, actually, this is not me. This is people that I know. They're going to be bringing the what used to be the Toronto Zouk Marathon is going to be happening in Ottawa this year. So that's exciting because dancers from all over the world and Canada, they come for that. That's in August. But more importantly, what I think is coming is a change. Mm. I see it because I get messages every week from students, either current or former students, people that decided to take other dance classes during the week, other styles during the week. Mm. They say, I miss you. I want you to come back. I want us to dance again. There is an evident desire for more purposeful connecting in dance. Yeah. In the city. And that will absolutely transform not just Zouk, salsa, bachata, all of the dances. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's amazing. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would change my introduction from driver Brazilian Zouk in Canada to driver of deep, intimate connection.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, many people think that I do want to dance Zouk because of the many idiosyncrasies of it that I like. But if you give me a connected dance, I'll love to dance bachata with you. I'll love to dance salsa with you. I'll love to dance anything with you. When I was just in Toronto this last weekend, and I had amazing bachata dances. I had, of course, amazing Zouk dances. When I went to Montreal, I had amazing salsa dances, amazing bachata dances. It's not just, but it's the presence that we bring onto, the energy that we bring onto, the devotion to our partner, the surrender, everything.
Yeah.
So,
what I want to highlight, what I'm captivating from what you just shared, this desire you speak about, what you're hearing from your community. To me, it's speaking to this deeper longing for, as I was mentioning, this connection, right? Yes, we're connected via virtual devices 24/7. But then there's, well, what about the human connection? What about I see you, not through my eyes, but actually through here?
mm-hmm.
Oh shit. You're no different than me. So we come back to your mirror analogy. Holy shit. You're human. You make mistakes. Me too. How can we play together and find this beautiful harmony
Mm-hmm.
in what we're sharing in this moment and connect to what we truly are, which is divinity, right? It's just
something beautiful happens here on the pineal gland, where when we realize that we can connect with ourselves and with our partner, and we get this release of energy that is so powerful. that we can give those brushstrokes of co-creation and
Hmm.
create art, you know. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, I wish that we all get to do our Sistine Chapels and
Yeah.
yeah, our Sagrada Familia by Gaudi in Barcelona.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all about your programs, and I'll put the link to, you mentioned the Instagram. Is there anywhere else that people can get more information from you?
At the moment, just by Instagram. I love that because I get to compartmentalize my life and I get to put a mute on all notifications. I get about 3,000 of them a day between text messages, WhatsApp messages, and Instagram messages a day. So it's just nice to be able to block time for developing other areas and
Yeah.
being spending time with my family, with my dog, with my everything.
Yeah.
So yes,
All right. Thank you so much,
yeah.
Victor. Really, fue un placer.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, women, whether you're leader, follower, a dance aficionado or not, I know this conversation has touched me in a certain way, a deep way, and I'm sure it's going to be resonating with people in a different way or in the way that resonates more to you. Listen to this again, share it with a friend, family member, colleague, and let's continue spreading the love for dance and just authentic connection. Thanks for being here, Victor.
Thank you, sweetheart.